imagine a scenario whereby you really want to save for this huge project that you want to start,
Yeah.
and then it happens that a family member, something like this happened, and a certain amount of money is needed, and this certain amount equates to the money you've been saving for
Yeah.
for some time now.
Yeah.
What happens? Do you think you'll still have the discipline to, like, I will not remove this money because of my project, because
Yeah.
e-project
How important it is.
how important it is. I'm not like, like, will your family convince you enough for you to stretch your hand to pull money from your,
Okay, for me, my family hawatakuwa wanajua niko na pesa at first.
Yeah.
When that emergency imetokea, sisi wote hatuna pesa.
Let's talk about the guilt.
No. Before nifika hapo, si emergency imetutokea sisi wote hapa. Wewe unajua niko na pesa ngapi kwa mfuko?
And I don't.
Hakuna mtu anajua. So I think the best thing to do, hold. You hold. Unangoja, you listen to everybody. Then, because it's an emergency and it needs to be attended to, let's say in your savings you have 100,000 and they need 98,000. Just pull apart. Usitoe yote. Just pull. Kwani, are you the only one mwenye una earn kwa hiyo familia, ama like, okay, inaweza kuwa you are the only one mwenye una earn, but it's all of it is your responsibility. This is a mutual thing.
We agree.
And it told something on that. I think that bleeds into black tax. Well, you're right actually. Ufai kutoa yote, unatoa kidogo. But na feel kama hiyo like your mentality may grow because of black tax. Like, you feel like hata kama niko nayo and it's disposable, you can't give that one mic that they need because watajua niko na pesa. So next time wataniitisha. So you look for a small amount you contribute to the emergency.
But unajua pia black tax inaweza kuja as kama kiburi.
Sasa na hiyo kidogo tuko na do.
Like wanadhani sina pesa. Ati ni how much? 100k. Mnadhani like actually this is
showing off.
It's a show off, but I want like actually the history of this thing ni kitu ina happen in our villages, maybe in our families, in somebody's family somewhere. Kitu kama ina happen like family. This is my cousin, ama this is my uncle's. Huyu ni uncle yangu, huyu ni babangu, huyu ni uncle yangu hapa. So tutakuwa ni kama tuko in a competition. Which family is doing better than the other
one?
I thought those things happen in churches.
In families actually it happens. It actually happen. In African setting, like hii familia wanapimana nguvu. Like huyu wanapigana nguvu na huyu like ni kama wanapimana. Alafu then so when it comes to maybe kuna ka issue kametokea, mtu anataka ku show their financial prowess, like you know what, sisi tuko na pesa and we can handle this thing on our own. We don't need you guys. Unaona sasa, but deep down utakuwa unaumia, like probably you getting into bad debts, trying to prove a point to these guys and these guys that you can handle your things together.
I agree.
Which goes back to budgeting. Yes. So I think what you're saying is, if you should spend all that money, I reiterate to what he said at first. You contribute. Usipe watu, like, don't think about other people. Contribute kidogo, because that's how the society is built. Once you say it, I'll pay for everything, you might even build resentment in someone else or jealousy. They might come to be the one now, they ask you.
Ama in case of anything, wewe utakuwa unaambiwa si last time ulilipa ilipa.
I would like to have an input on the same. You see, when a situation happens, an emergency, for example, or a tragedy, that tragedy touches different people differently.
Differently.
Maybe it's too close to you. It's your even relatives. The proximity to that relative is different from everybody, right?
Yeah.
And you realize that if you are the closest, you may be the closest, but you don't have as much money, so you can only give a little. Other people are further, but they have the ability, the means. But this is my take on giving. First of all, you should give in accordance to the proximity of that person to you. So therefore, if let's say, for example, it's your immediate relative, you have a bigger duty to give more or to look for more funds than somebody else who is a bit distant.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, the ability. If kwa familia yenu wewe ndio mzito, then it's incumbent upon you to do what everybody else has managed
To do the lion's share.
top up the lion's share.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So therefore, obviously,
That's
it may call on a bigger sacrifice from your side. Again, I need to remind you that when we are looking for this money, the goal of the money on its own, the coins and notes, are just paper and pieces of metal. You want the money because of what it can do for you and for people you care about.
Yes.
So therefore, if somebody is sick, they can get access to that treatment and it's urgent and you have the money.
What's
And
the point?
And nobody else seems to either have the money or be willing to contribute the money. It would be the purpose of having the money if that person was to die or something was to happen to that person while you're holding on to this money, because spending that money on that is a just cost, is an important cost enough for you to spend your hard saved money on.
Let me throw a wrench.
Now
into
you've been
that.
saving
Let
for
me-
a rainy
let-
day.
Let me throw a wrench into
And
that.
the rainy day has come.
The rainy day has come.
Let me throw a wrench into that. Let me throw a wrench into that. What if it is not a health emergency?
Okay, the issue is you spend money on important things.
Yes.
And an emergency is an emergency. There has to be a reason why it's called emergency.
emergency.
Is it somebody is sleeping out, somebody has been kicked out of the house, they have kids outside? It doesn't even have to be a relative, it could be your neighbor. You have to assess the extent of the challenge. By not helping, how much suffering will humanity, the immediate humanity, that just a minute, let me finish the point. You have to calculate, even if you are not related to this person, but he is a human being. And by virtue of them being human being, means you are related because we are all interconnected. So therefore,
I want to give a scenario, small one. Imagine I call you telling you, bro, the CD slipped up. It's like I gave someone ball.
Yes.
Nah, we want to get rid of it. Like I really don't have the money, bro.
Okay,
Can you send me
that would have been-
10,000?
I get the question. That got me off guard.
That's an
I
emergency.
can't think of
It's
it.
an emergency.
I thought about it. But hey, I'm not the one. I'm not the judge of what should be classified as an emergency or what should not. To you, maybe that's not an emergency. But the person going through that
It's an
means
emergency.
like the end of the world to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the decision, my personal decision on whether to help you or not to help you, if you are a friend to me, it depends with how I feel that emergency is an actual emergency. If, for example, I'm a pro-life, I'm like, why would I even endorse people talking about terminating life?
Yeah.
But it's
So
an
very
emergency.
clearly I withhold. But if I'm against or if I'm cool with such,
Yeah.
first of all, already you have passed the first check. And then I'll come to close to how much do you seem to be affected by this for it to qualify to be an emergency? And then probably, what have you done for me lately? How close is our friendship?
Yeah.
What is the obligation of me to
Yeah.
help you?
Yeah.
Sometimes, listen, I meet friends.
Yeah.
They have emergencies that I think, honestly, is childish. They are not emergency for me. It's like my baby crying about a certain flavor of candy they want. To them, it's the most important thing in life.
That's true.
Yeah.
For me, it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what I think. Sometimes it's how you care about that person. If you care about them much enough or hard enough or enough, then whatever is important to them should be, in a way, important to you. So therefore, if it's not an emergency to me, but if you care about that issue so much and we are so close, then I'll go out of my way on a link to help you.
Compromise your discipline.
Not really discipline, because this money, I have to start by saying, this money, I've been setting it up. The money we are looking for in our lives, we are chasing the bag from the day we were born to the day we die. But this bag, we have to define. What is this bag for? This bag is for helping your friends when they need. This bag is for helping your kids. If you have 1,000 bob and you are saving it for maybe a trip you are taking up country, for example, and your kid has this candy, she has been even dreaming about it loudly, and she wants it, and her life seems like will crumble without that candy. Okay, you can set aside 50 shillings from the 1,000 bob. I know it's important. Buy her a candy, make her world, and then proceed with the balance or work with the balance. Basically, what I'm saying, I cannot judge for people what to help with or what not to help with, but it has to be a personal decision, number one.
Yeah.
But then I also have to caution people that you are not God. So it doesn't mean any problem that comes around, you are the one to solve it. You are not God. Sometimes the person affected, you are not their parent. So therefore, in the pecking order, you are distant 10th.
Yes.
And therefore, you shouldn't act like this is your emergency. Sometimes it's good to just stand by and watch. And let me tell you something. When it comes to friendships, borrowing money from a friend should be the absolute last thing you do. Anybody who finds it easily to borrow money from you on flimsy reasons, that is not a friend. You should stay away from that friend. That's not your friend.
Okay.
Right? So therefore, you shouldn't feel burdened. And even if I have the money and you come to me and I tell you, no, I have the money or I don't have the money, or I tell you I have money, but I'm sorry, I have budgeted it for something else. If you are a true friend, you shouldn't guilt trip me. It should be easy for me to say no to you and you understand. Because I'm not your God. I'm just your friend. Pray to God if your problem is so dire. Or your parent. You understand? So therefore, let's not burden each other. Let's not make the cost of friendship too high. Yes.
So, in addition to that, borrowing money from friends, maybe I have no problem borrowing money from my friends or my friends borrowing money from me, but it depends what amount are they borrowing me. Kama niajisipi kopo nisaidie dhao, nitakurudishia. Niambie tu nitakurudishia. Mimi ombeanga mabishe zangu hivi. Kama unaniomba do, niambie niaje ukufiti nisaidie dhao nadai kutumia mahali. Unaona sasa umemaliza statement yako hivyo. Kama niko na nitakutumia. Haya, that is one scenario. Scenario 2. Niaje uko poa, nisaidie dhao nitakutumia kesho jioni. Umemaliza statement yako hivyo. So nitakutumia hiyo dhao with an expectation in mind, kesho jioni utakuwa umenirudishia pesa yangu. So when you fail to kunirudishia mimi hiyo pesa kesho jioni, that means like your friendship really like your borrowing yetu ni kama
you have downgraded the friendship.
Yeah. Alafu scenario 3, niaje sipi uko poa Sade dhao nitakurudishia later. Nimekupatia hiyo dhao, I'm not expecting it now, tomorrow, the other day. I'm just expecting it lakini sijui ni lini. Unaona sasa, I think those are the 3 things people should consider when borrowing money from friends. First things, nisaidie pesa. Ama I have friends, niaje uko fit nitumie dhao. Nakata simu. Na hata nitumia. Niaje uko fit nitumie 5k. Nitakutumia weekend. Na hata nitumia. Niaje uko fit nitumie dhao 2 nitakurudishia nyingine later. Unaona sasa, those ina depend ukiomba pesa vile una phrase. Kuna bishta yangu aliniambianga bishta yake alienda kubomba do like 100k. Bishta yangu alimwambia like sema ni Ken amekuja kuniomba 100k. So niambie Ken, yes niko na 100k. Lakini hii friendship yetu ni ya maana zaidi kuliko hii pesa. So sikupatii pesa.
What bush? What of bullshit answer is that?
No. I want to say something. It's not bullshit. sababu nitakupatia 100k, when you default friendship yetu imeisha. Do you know that?
Well, if you don't help me solve this problem, what friendship remains there?
Me have a question.
What kind of friend are you?
Me have a question. Actually, wacha sasa to get deep. This is a personal thing to me. I find it so hard kukopesha watu pesa, even close friends, because the number of times zenye nimekopeshana pesa imerudi, I can easily count on one hand compared to the number of times nimepeana pesa, mpaka to a point when if someone asks you for money, you don't expect it back. Hata kama mtu amekukopa, hata it is a surprise. You see, have you ever said thank you for your money? Mwekopesha mtu pesa akakutumia ukamwambia thanks ni money wewe mpesa, because you actually can't believe your pesa imerudi. So I need you guys to help me understand, how do you tell the difference between someone who is genuine, who will genuinely pay you back, and someone who
you can't
anakukopa pesa tu?
The thing is, you can't. You just you have a leap of faith, like uko tu like, okay, like unapatia tu mtu tu pesa, hoping that they will accord you the same respect yenye umewafanyia, like na ata maintain your relationship yenu ama whatever that friendship of yours.
I have a question
to
for
maintain
you.
It.
I have a question for you. The person you gave money, are you in habit of giving them that amount before, and they have had a habit of returning it?
No, that's
clearly I can tell from your response. But this is the thing, even borrowing, just like borrowing, even lending money requires discipline. Because you see, when somebody borrows you money, they are not random people. A random person cannot walk to you and tell you, lend me money. The person who is borrowing you, he is leveraging on something. Either some kindness he has extended to you over time, or some friendship you guys have, or the favors you trade with each other. You understand? So it's not out of blues, and therefore it's not a hard decision to make. You have to check what kind of favors do we trade with this
vitabu zako
person.
zinasoma aje?
Yes, what kind of favors do we trade with this person? If tunakopananga 1,200, nisaidie na so mbili hapo, nilipie parking so 3, and then you come here asking me to lend you 200,000, I'll step back. It's like, look, urafiki wetu hujafika hapa, unaharakisha sana.
Unaharakisha sana.
Yes, the next step should be borrowing me 1,000, because we've been trading in hundreds. You understand? Again, sometimes a situation arises where you are the only mzito around. Now, this person, as much as you have the rapport for borrowing money, he is in dire need. And he has to go out of his way and come to you. When that happens, you have to vet the person. Okay, you want money from me? Yes. Do you have the ability to pay? And this has to be moment of truth. You can't be shy. It has to be moment of truth. Are you borrowing to repay, or you want a grant? You know, money to be helped. Is it a harambe or is it a loan? You understand? Somebody says it's a loan. Do you have the ability to pay? You have to presume that this person is in need. And whatever projections they have in their mind of how they will raise the money to pay you back might not happen. They may miscalculate. They may be calculating on good tidings, and those they get a bad omen, and they are not able to raise the money. So you also have to factor in, what if this person doesn't pay? What is the remedy? You understand? And that's why you go to Shylocks, they tell you, look, I'm not saying you will not pay my money, but just go look for an asset that is equivalent to the money you are asking for, or slightly more, and bring it. I'll not sell it. I'll keep it right here. When you pay me, and I know you will, I'll give you back your asset. And if somebody you do not have that rapport of borrowing each other that amount of money or trading that amount of money, they should be more than willing to surrender that asset, which is 10 times or 5 times more, if their problem was genuine, for the asset.